thinking about it, looking at it. Is it gonna do it? Yes. Come on, Nick, you can do it. You can do it. No.
You guys, I think I came up with a brand new rinseless wash method that's gonna save me time and get me amazing results. It's Nick. It is Nick at Night. And you might be thinking, a rinseless wash method, a new method? What are you thinking, Nick? What's going on? Well, what's beautiful about this is, I don't know if it's new. I don't know if I'm gonna do a good job, but I've got a keg sprayer here and I've got a plan. The plan is going to unfold with Yvan Lacroix there on my shoulder, as if we're in the DIY Detail studio. I want Yvan to critique my method. I want him to critique my efficiency. I want to hear it all, Yvan Lacroix. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain this method. We're losing sunlight, so I gotta work fast, but the rinsing rinse less method is here. And who invented it? You heard it here first. So before we get started, I want to show you the front bumper. It is littered with bug guts, but if we do look at the glass, I'm not gonna lie, it's just dusty. This is just a dusty vehicle. And that's the perfect candidate for my rinsing rinse less wash technique. This is something you would do every week. If it had been 3 weeks and you'd driven through mud, folks, I suggest a foam rinse foam or a chemical rinse chemical. Get the garden hose out, get the pressure washer. But here's how my method works. I have a keg sprayer here, right? And the beauty of the keg sprayer is it has pressure, right? I used an inflator to get this to about 90 PSI. I've got 3 gallons of distilled water in here with my rinseless wash. You don't need distilled water, I just happen to have it from a previous video. And the first thing I wanna do is simply get the rinseless wash on the surface. So, I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna shut the heck up, and I'm gonna let Yvan Lacroix kind of share his thoughts of what I'm doing as I go. But real quick, first step, get the rinseless on, emulsify everything, give it a little dwell time, and then kind of spray it off like it's a pressure washer, right? Using the PSI here, and then hopefully, because rinseless wash doesn't need a drying aid, we can just go ahead and dry the vehicle. Again, I promised I would shut up for this one, so Yvan can go ahead and critique or share his thoughts. Lacroix, the floor is yours.
Well, first thing, look at that bottom of front bumper there. There's the little peaks, and now Nick is gonna rinse the evidence off there, but the last time you washed, you did like motions that left little peaks there. Now, at this point, you're putting way too much rinseless on the surface. It's nice to have the keg, it's a fun tool, but you just want to get enough on there to emulsify and break down the dirt. Right now, it looks like you've got a pressure washer, and I know you recently bought a pressure washer. It might have been better to use that. Nonetheless, no, we want to get the rinseless on the surface, but maybe reducing the pressure, changing the tip, and moving a little faster would get that rinseless on the surface, because that keg isn't illimited, or the keg doesn't. The keg has a limit as to how much liquid you have in it. So the other thing with the keg is you've got the nice curly Q hose there. Try to unravel it a little bit. You've got it all tied up in knots, meaning you're having to carry that keg around from one end to the other of the vehicle, whereas that hose, once it's unraveled, is long enough that you can set it in the front, in the middle, or the back in the middle, and just go from one end to the other without having to worry about the keg. Again, this stage, typically when we say chemical rinse chemical, is just to get the chemical on the surface. And it looks like you're trying to use it as a pressure washer at this point, which is fine, it's fun, but look how much moisture you have on the ground. You know, one of the attributes of rinseless is reducing the amount of water you're using. This doesn't look like it's that case. And yes, I'm having to look down to look at the video. So
the astute observer will notice a Lacroix special here. I put a rinseless wash bucket on both sides of the vehicle to maximize efficiency. So as I move around the vehicle, the goal here is, yeah, I'll have the one sponge, but I can move toward the bucket. I'm never having to go and get my bucket again. What did this cost me? Well, I've got about 3 gallons of water in here, so that's 3 capfuls of rinseless wash, 1.5 ounces of hyper concentrated product. So that's 1.5 ounces here, 1.5 ounces there. So I'm at 3 ounces of rinseless wash, plus because of the 3 gallons of distilled water in there, I'm at 3 capfuls, so another 1.5 ounces. So I might be doing my math wrong, but 4.5 ounces of rinseless wash for this whole process. I'll probably have a lot left in the keg sprayer, but I did put a lot in there just in case. And that's my first dwell. So after this, I'm gonna go ahead and do the wheels really quick with a rinseless wash on the surface there, just to get that done and maximize my dwell time. I'm out of direct sunlight, it's nighttime. Of course, this is Nick at Night. So again, while there's dwell time going on, while these beads are encapsulating the dirt on the surface, while they're emulsifying that grit, while I'm allowing the rinseless wash to do what it needs to do without me involved, I'm gonna work on these wheels. This is a quick and easy method, okay, everybody? I've got my wheel and body brush from DIY Detail rinseless wash on the surface. All I'm doing, and I'm not super worried about it, I'm doing one of these numbers. Now, if you wanted to call me a hack and you wanted to see me rinse this one more time, I'd be okay with that. So taking the keg sprayer and rinsing it, and I probably would have felt better about this. This is a 2017 Subaru, it's mine, I'm not super worried about it. But as I do this, I'm thinking, could I have just done one more rinse on the wheels too? Why did I create a new rule just for the wheels? And mostly it's because I don't really care about this car that much. These wheels have seen better days. But after doing this once, I think I'm gonna go ahead and spray down the rest of them as that second step on the wheels, and then be done with those and get to the paint.
Good idea. Now, that brush could use a cleaning as well. Before you get on there, yes, I know it's a wheel and body brush, but it shouldn't be that caked up. And soaking in your wash bucket a little bit of time, or spraying some all clean on it would help a lot. So Nick starts at the valve stem and goes clockwise, and now he knows what clockwise is, that he's not wearing a digital watch anymore, so that's a good thing. But he's going around, and you'll notice you're doing fairly well here. Normally he skips the last section. So if he started there, oh, did he get it? No. So if you look at the 1 o'clock position, so the one starting right to the left of the valve stem, that one branch, he missed the side of it. That's unfortunately common. So let's see how he does, if he does better on this one. So spraying it out, that's good. Getting in the tire. So starting at the valve stem, going around, so far so good. Getting all the angles, excellent. And manufacturers that have more than 5 spokes should pay a tax. Very good. Got the whole thing this time. Spraying out the brush, but again, that brush face should not be that gungy. Having your space organized is always good. And I notice in the bottom left hand of the screen there, we have a garden hose. Are we doing something with the garden hose? We don't know yet. Let's find out. Very good. He's getting all those corners as well. Will he come back to the beginning? Oh, that was a little light on that last branch, the one aiming right down at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. depending on how
It's rinseless wash. Rinse less. I've done some rinsing here. I've used the pressurized keg to serve as my pressure washer. The wheel and body brush is done. I can dry these down later with some ceramic gloss, but for now, I'm gonna get back to the paint. So now we're back to the paint, and I wanna show you all the water beads, nice protected paint here. But something like this, like a bird dropping, I've let the rinseless emulsify it now. It's been about 10 minutes. Let's see if this pressurized keg can actually act like a pressure washer. So before I touch this paint, see if it'll take it off. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole idea. So I'm gonna shut up, but no, I'm using the pressure washer to get into seams and kind of treat this like my final rinse before I do my rinse less. Remember, rinse less does not need to be rinsed off at the end. It's its own drying aid. And just watch and see what I do.
So again, the keg is a good option if that's all you have. But even though Nick is putting a lot of material on the surface here, it's not quite enough to rinse away what was there. And you notice he missed half of the window there. The hydro light that it has on his vehicle is showing.
Bug out right there. I see a little bit left. I'll just get that off with either my Legacy sponge or my decon towel.
So the keg is sounding rather empty already. We'll see if he makes it to the end. But as I was saying, the whole idea of a rinse chemical is to rinse it away. And yes, you're using the pressure of the keg, but when you have a low volume sprayer like the keg, you need to make sure to be very methodical and get everywhere. So Nick could actually be a little further from the car, get a wider spray pattern, or use, the 25 or 40 degree tip on there. Yeah, he's got the 50. No, he might have the 25 there. Anyways, sort of hard to tell. But you'll notice he sort of misses a few spots here and there when rinsing. So not a concern. The vehicle wasn't that dirty, just seemed to have a lot of pollen on it. But again, that garden hose that is just by the keg there might have been a better choice at this point in time. So you'll see what the pressure is doing. He's got a lot of pressure on the surface, but not a lot of volume. So changing to a tip that would provide a little more volume, a little less pressure, would help in the rinsing aspect of it.
It's making great work of these bug guts.
Yeah, allowing the rinseless to emulsify and break them down before rinsing off is always a good idea. That's why I always, in the summer, do the front of the vehicle last. So it'll be one of the first areas that I spray, but one of the last areas that I rinse off. That way the chemical has a lot of time to emulsify and break down that dirt.
Again, the whole reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to mitigate scratch risk. When you touch your vehicle with your mitt or your Legacy sponge before it's ready, before it's emulsified the grit and broken it down and gotten it off with that rinse, you risk scratching it. So to me, even this pressurized rinseless feels safer as a second step before I've even used my Legacy sponge on paint.
So Nick's going after bugs again. So he's doing a good job of flushing out the corners, things like that. But you'll notice he missed a whole stripe there on the door. And at this point, that was just wasting product. Sorry, but you could have stopped spraying. It's not like a pressure washer where you have to keep that thing up. You're not going to have a startup slow down from the pressure washer. And since you brushed your wheels, it might be a good idea to rinse them off as well. Because basically you've moved the dirt around, but you haven't removed it from the surface. So you've taken it off in terms it's not attached to the dirt surface anymore.
Most of the bug gut's gone here. Most of the bug gut's gone on the side mirrors. Right now I'm just gonna focus on rinseless washing, one side of the sponge for one section, another side of the sponge for my next section. I redunk and I move on. Amazing technology, and then it's ready to dry.
So having a bucket on either side of the car, if you're in a shop environment, is great. In Nick's environment here, maybe not the best solution. He could have just carried the bucket to the other side. But it is nonetheless a good efficiency hack or tip. Opening the door allows him to reach further along the roof, so that's a good thing. Now you'll notice he completely missed the A-pillar and the hoop over the driver's door. With the door open, not the best time to get there anyways. We'll see when he closes the door if he does those. Oh no, going to the glass, but missing the hoop. Come on, Nick. Same there. So A-pillar and the hoop that goes over, or the roof support, whatever you want to call it, it's been missed at this point. Now he might get back to it. Nick isn't always known for being the most methodical. So now we're going after the trunk. Oh, we got part of the way up the C-pillar there. So he'd already done the window, so that's good. He's not redoing the same section, getting inside the door handle. That's good. Working his way methodically down the door. Maybe those end strokes are a little rounded off, but nonetheless, very good. Getting those bugs, getting the underside of the mirror, that's very important. A lot of people miss that. Getting inside the door handle. So Nick's actually moving a little too fast. And you notice he didn't get the rocker panel yet, and he still hasn't gotten that the hoop over the roof. Oh, thinking about it, looking at it. Is he going to do it? Yes. Come on, Nick, you can do it. You can do it. No. So we've got the A-pillar, though. At least we got the A-pillar. Going to the fender, working from the bottom of the fender back up. Maybe not the best strategy there. And then the hood. Dunking in the second bucket. That's good. And opening the door, so we're back on the roof. Does he do the A-pillar and the roof hoop on this side? And what do we call that? I call it the roof hoop. I don't have a real term for it. I don't know what the official term is, so if someone could clue us in on that, that would be great. Again, if you're stepping in the back door, close the front door when you're ready. That way you're going to get less moisture in. I believe he already did under there, but I guess twice is better than none. And we can't see if he did the hoop there. Now we're going to the back window. So while we can't see Nick here, take a closer look at that front bumper. So the lip right at the bottom, the silver colored one, you'll notice there's little triangles in it. And that is from where the last time Nick washed the vehicle, sort of missed those. So when you're washing, one thing that you want to do is step back.
Here's my logic if Ivan hasn't said anything yet. I'm trying to do the same thing on this side that I did on the other side.
Which is a good thing. Having a method, being methodical is good.
Redunking my legacy sponge after every section. I can tell where I've washed and where I haven't based on the beading. That's the beauty of rinseless wash. And maybe I haven't picked up on it, but I'm saving this front bumper for last. Flipping sides from here to here. Saving the front bumper for last. Trying to leverage the dwell time with those bug guts. Whatever's left behind. I've pretty much washed everything except for the rear and the front. I've done all the windows, the uppers, the roof. I'm just gonna hit the rear hatch real quick, then I'll come back and do the front. It's not happening right now because it's so dark out and not bright at all. But if your rinseless dried up on you, you could just spray a little bit more rinseless for that final step before the contact wash.
Very true. So I was saying, back away from the vehicle. And
like I said, I just went up to here before. So I'm gonna quickly remember that half of this is the black side, and then I'll do the other half with the red.
Ooh, we almost got under there. So the paint extends about 6 inches in. Be good to clean that as well. But Nick, only being in his late 30s, he's not flexible enough yet to get down that far. And this side he didn't even try. Let's see if he goes back in. Oh, almost.
Not even that dirty. So now it's all washed. All I have left to do is dry. Drying blanket. Very soon on the houseofrags.com and DIYdetail.com, you'll be able to find the DIY Detail drying blanket back in stock. I love the Diva Towel by Thor. We've been selling it on DIY Detail's website. But new and improved drying blanket, amazing packaging, excited to show it off for you. Will be available on thehouseofrags.com very soon, but it's not available just yet, I don't think, as of the time of this airing. I literally could do this. Rinseless Wash is its own drying aid, and I'm that quickly done. But you know what I just remembered? And Ivan's gonna point this out. I haven't washed the front bumper yet, so stand by.
Yeah, he completely missed that. And still hasn't done that hoop over the side windows there. And at this point, Nick's in a rush, and you'll notice he missed that fog light completely. Now, is he going to get those little triangles that he missed last time at the bottom of that lip? Let's see. Oh, yes, got them. Good. Put the fog light on the passenger side. He didn't touch. Oh, we have another chance.
Since I've got ceramic gloss as my drying aid anyway, there's just a couple spots where I saw some bug gut residue, and I wanted to use something as a clay lube, so to speak. So I'm just using one spray of ceramic gloss just to see if I can get anything to move here, and that seems to be working really well. Rinseless would have been its own clay lube as well, but because I know I'm coming right after with the towel, I'm just gonna go ahead and just try to shave off anything that may have been left using ceramic gloss as a clay lube. So this is a bit of an audible. This wasn't exactly in the works. We could talk about how you could do this on the whole vehicle and how easy that would be in another video, you know, the wash clay seal, but not right now. So I've got all the bug guts off there, now it's time to dry.
Now he wants to do that front bumper first before the ceramic gloss dries. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, I'm just gonna get to it. You could use Rinseless as a drying aid. I did it right there, it looks amazing. Or spritz of ceramic gloss. Where I put the ceramic gloss is where I deposit the towel.
Good strategy, spraying it on so you don't have to carry the bottle with you. That's good. Now the towel hitting the tire, that wasn't a good move. The tire itself we've cleaned, but the tread of the tire hasn't been cleaned. And to his credit, he didn't wash the rocker panel, and he's not drying it, so he's not going to get his towel dirty there. He just went down to that chrome strip and didn't go past that. So if Nick were to step back like 50 feet from the car, you would see that the rocker panel is not clean. So letting ceramic gloss dry on that front bumper, maybe not the best of plans. And if someone wants to sponsor Nick for a gym membership, now might be a good time. He seems very out of breath. I don't know if he's, playing up that ASMR thing he was trying to do with the towel, but yeah. Start working out, Nick. Wash your car more often. Do something. Go for a walk. But you're out of breath from drying a car. It's not normal. So I'd like to congratulate Nick, though. Very restrained on his use of ceramic gloss. Normally, or a year ago or 2 years ago, he would have used half a bottle on his car. So doing well on that one. Now he only sprayed the back half of the roof. Let's see if he goes forward. He's picked the bottle back up. That's good. Very good, Nick. But definitely out of breath. So the new drying blanket, little minor improvements, better stitching, etc. We have the packaging now. So Nick is trying it out, I think, for the first time here. Hopefully he'll give his impressions after this, but nonetheless, we always like to improve things just a little bit, as much as we can. And you'll notice that front lip, it's now missing the little triangles that were there in the beginning, so that's a good thing. And Nick is getting even more out of breath. he's not drying the underside of the lips, but he didn't dry the rocker panels either, so. It's looking shiny. Does he have drip catchers for the mirrors? It's one of his favorite towels. He should have some there.
And just like that, she's clean and partially decontaminated. This is the rinsing rinseless method. No hose needed. Amazing results. If you had faith in your cleaning process, you could use your drying blanket on your wheel faces with some ceramic gloss, or you could just take a shop towel, which is probably what I'm gonna do, because I don't quite know if this has been beta tested, my entire rinsing rinseless system. I'm probably gonna grab a shop towel, do some ceramic gloss on the wheels, maybe apply tire lotion from DIY Detail, maybe not. There's no maybes about this result though. I'm gonna walk you around the car. Ivan, thank you for your time, sir. And as I walk around the car, I'll give you time to share some final thoughts of your own.
So, fairly good idea. A little bit overuse of the keg, but I know Nick likes to play with the keg, so that's a good thing. He needs to replace that fog light there, but he cleaned that one. It's the other one that he didn't wash. Looking good. Do we have drips from the mirrors? Let's take a look. So, there's a few drips starting there, so not a good idea. Now, got some weird fingerprints on the back edge of the door. Back bumper's looking good. Back of the trunk. Nice shine on the car. It's got C6 hydro light on there, so it's held up very well. I think it's been over a year since he did that. Good job, Nick.